ninefold specific bhakti disciplines. What they say? 75 page. Ninefold. What are the ninefold? Bhakti will hear. Great. So ninefold specific bhakti disciplines. Supplementing the above statement, I do not know what the above statement. Who remembers? I forgot.
The stages of Shraddha.
Huh?
The stages of Shraddha.
Stages of Shraddha, that is the last one. So he said that supplementing the above statement. Above statement means quotation, last quotation maybe, which says that a person following this path never sustains any spiritual fall. Even if he runs along the path with eyes closed, his feet do not slip and he does not topple down. Whatever a devotee does with body, mind, senses, intellect, or spirit, not necessarily scripture ordained duties, but all activities natural to him, let him consecrate it all to Narayana by making them an offering unto him. That is the Bhagavata verse. So what a simple way of spiritualizing the life. That's why it is said that this is one of the great boon for bhakti practice. In every practice you have to give up this, give up that. And apparently it seems bhakti says, you only do everything and give it to God. But the word appears to be so simple. But you apply, it is not so simple. To do everything and to offer it to God, how much devotion we should have, how much inner feeling of love and connection for the beloved Lord should be there, that every action will be given to Him, every thought, every deed, every movement is all offering to God. No? So, how it happens? This is the continuation of that teaching. It is said that a man having love for God, I am using the word love, but in Sanskrit there are different depths of love. English language does not have that. More love, deeper love, we use these adjectives. But there is a different terminology, it's called the roti. Roti. So at the beginning of the chapter, what I read just now, just go above that on page 75, where the first paragraph. For men of faith who want to develop attachment, you see the Sanskrit word is attachment means a love which attaches us. But a love to that depth, that is called the roti. It's not ordinary bhakti. You see, and loving devotion bhakti. Loving devotion, they are saying bhakti. But with that love, you get so much attached to God. That means that attachment is not ordinary attachment. It is a profound attachment. So that attachment, a attached person, all the thoughts and action goes to which he is attached or she is attached. He cannot control. It will go, it will run. Mind will run for that. So that type of attachment, that's the depth of the attachment is called the roti. And so for men of faith who want to develop attachment, that's roti, and loving devotion for God, the second and third stages of devotion, the Bhagavad prescribes a course of discipline called Bhagavata Dharma, which it claims is applicable to men, of course women, of right intentions. It is claimed to be much more easy and practicable than the disciplines prescribed. That is to encourage that it is easier path than your jnana, easier path than that of your dhyana. easier path than that of your karma. Devotion is easier because you have it, only you attach to God. Now let us go to the today's reading, 14th chapter, which is called Ninefold Specific Bhakti Discipline. Supplementing the above statement, the more direct devotional disciplines are thus enumerated. What are the ninefold practices is talking? That's why more specific practices are being mentioned. What is that? Quote, hearing narratives of the glorious actions and excellence of Vishnu. Shravanam, narration, listening of they will be so much inclined to run to that place, to that person, wherever there is that holy discussion is going on. So that much attached. That's the attachment. What is the sign? What is the sign that one is attached to God? He will be eager and running to listen to the divine play, the sport, or the message of the beloved Lord. The glorious actions, that is called the Leela. The first point, hearing narratives of the glorious actions and the excellences of Vishnu. Second, chanting his name and reciting hymns in praise of him. Sravanam Kirtanam. Kirtan, out loud, chanting. The name of the Lord and the praises, wherever you chant the Bhagavat, from the Gita, the praise, that's praise portions. Even in Chandi, what you do, the praise portions, the glory of the Lord. Then chanting. Third, Shravanam, Smaranam, remembering. Smaranam, remembering him continuously. Remembering him, not remembering once in the morning, another time in the evening, or after one day, after 5 days. I remembered God. Not that. If someone loves and very deeply, I say, I thought of you last year in 2016 in December, and now I love you today. That means this is not remembering. This type of remembrance is not said. It is a remembrance means you cannot forget. Such is the intensity of that attachment to God, love for God. You cannot forget that. Like Ramakrishna said, it's like a toothache. No one needs to forget the toothache when it is happening. Whatever you do, toothache reminds you, I am here. So similarly, this love will be.
When Holy Mother said like that she had that immense love for her own children initiated, but she could not remember their name and who they are and all these things. But she's not remembering them as any way. But still, she is loving them. Then how is this possible?
That love is much deeper. That love, if you can do, you do not know the name and form. If you can hit the ground, suppose that if you can hit the mind, the body is the expression of the mind. If you can you can be so developed that you tune your consciousness into the source of that cosmic consciousness, or you can say the source, the oneness. But the mind behind the mind, who is there? You go first from remembering means you are thinking like a gross remembering. I remember your face. That is called remembering, according to us. Oh, I remember him means his face came before me. Is that enough? You may not have to remember the face. You remember his qualities. That's a deeper thing. So sometimes the children are far away. Mother remembers the child. Mother is old mother living in some remote village, thinking of maybe those days there is no photograph or something. Yes, some mental image, but may not be. But the love is so deep, it is not on the outer frame. For its qualities, that's a different, deeper love. I love it. Immediately. Oh, he used to ask me this way. I used to interact with him this way. So this type of relationship, that is a deeper connection. This is very peripheral, superficial. This is only the external. And if you go deeper in the mental level, you can tune with the mental level. You can know what is happening. Mother knows what is happening to the child. Yeah. Something happened. Many stories are there. Some in those days. Nowadays, all communication is so easy. In early days, people used to don't get a letter even. To get a letter, it would take so many days. In those days, mother can feel something is happening to his son in the mental level. It's much deeper. So mother could penetrate into the deeper level.
That one is Sritananda Swami told that time he was in Devghar in church, and Devghar they have so many students and young boys. So one mother called him, and he was in church, Swami there. Then he said that, how is my son doing? So he said that he's doing fine. And he said that, are you sure he's doing fine? He said that, yes, I saw him this morning in the prayer. He was doing fine. And he said, then the mother was not convinced. 2-3 times she asked, then she hung up the phone. And it's many years ago. Then he just finished the conversation with mother, and one person came and said that this boy, he was playing in the football ground, soccer, and then he had that very bad leg ache, and then his leg is broken. So then right away he thought that, oh my God, that's why the mother was asking again and again how is, but she's far away calling their residential school and asking Shuddhananda, yeah, are you sure he's doing fine? Are you sure he's doing fine?
Yeah.
So he started to lecture on Holy Mother, and then he started with that story.
Even many of our sadhus recall maybe uh, some spiritually. Suppose you are meditating, you feel really little upsurge in your good upsurge in your feeling. No reason. Every day you do that, but suddenly you felt. Uh, some of our sadhus told me that they have that. They're very spiritual soul who in our order, senior swamis who love them, just thinking of him, praying for him, they gets connected here. His mind is one mind, cosmic mind. You throw a stone here, it has its ripple, moves. If you have the correct type of instrument, you can feel the same sensitivity, even far distance. It is a question of what is the receptivity or capability of that person. So remembering does not mean that you should have to remember only the physical feature of the person. First of all, qualities, and also go down deep into the mind. And if you can go down deep into something else, then uh, this body is nothing but the expression of the mind. No? As one thinks, facial expression changes. One becomes like innocent child, another becomes like a violent person. No, how cultivating those thoughts and emotions, people change themselves. Anyhow, so that is the remembering. That's why also it is true. Remembering the glories of God, what happens? You see, when Radharani used to think of Krishna, remembering those days where photography was there or anything, no, mentally thinking of Krishna and Krishna so deeply, he went to the Krishna level of consciousness deep inside, whole feature changes. His face will be just reflecting, like when she is standing before the mirror, sometimes she saw it's Krishna. So কেন এত জায়গায় আসুন, কোথায় যাচ্ছেন? আসুন. So that deeper depth can transform yourself. Ramakrishna, remembering, he is practicing in the different moods. Different moods. When he was practicing in the mood of Hanumanji, he grew tailbone. And not only that, his whole feature changed. He used to jump, he used to walk like monkey jumps. You cannot walk like as we are walking. Hopping, hopping. Holding the branches sometimes used to hang like a children sometimes, nowadays. eh, Nowadays it's all sophisticated society. But in early days, children used to play. What are the play? They used to sometimes hang on uh, one of the branches of the tree, lower branches, and hang on that. So Ramakrishna used to do like that. So transformation. Remembering means in a deeper depth, not the physical, but the physical will totally transform. The entire remembering has such power. So that's why that power is utilized in this practice, remembering. So, 3. Hearing the narratives and glories of the actions of the excellence of Vishnu. 1. Sravanam, chanting, Kirtanam, remembering, Smaranam, remembering him continuously. That's why I was going to say, I enter into so much. Entering, not remembering morning and evening, or once a year, another year, or 1 month after another month, but it's a continuous thinking. That type of remembrance. That's why that there is a story of the Kak Bhusundi, the crow, Bhusundi crow. Ramakrishna said, we are so much engaged in repeating the name of the Lord that the crow is taking the name of Rama, 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 and is thirsty, wants to drink some water. But water is there, but he could not. He goes to the water, but could not drink water. Still, the name of the Lord will stop. It becomes so habitual. It's impossible for them. It's showing that intensity. These are all examples. Now, remembering. And then next one is serving, dasya. Padusevanam, serving, right. Serving him, worshipping him. Pujanam, Padusevanam, Pujanam, Archanam. Where is the verse gone? We can find out somewhere. It's given there, but you remember that. So good. I also used to remember, but forgot.
No longer needed for you, Maharaj. We need to remember.
Now we need remembering and practicing. And, and then worshipping him. Archana. And that's why Bhakti school pays so much attention to perform the ritualistic puja and every detail of the puja. Now the Lord is being raised, then he is given to feed this, and then in the early morning give some candy and butter and candy and water and tulsi leaf and this that, and then you go in the noon time another in between breakfast time. How many whole days divided in service to the Lord, service to the Lord, service to the Lord, and they engage in service to the Lord in the temple. That's it. So worshipping him, paying obeisance to him, practicing servitude to him. What is servitude? Practicing service, asana, befriending him and making a total self-surrender to him. Sharanagati, total surrender. That's, we can find it. It's somewhere it is repeated here in some book. By these are the 9 aspects of devotion. I gave once a talk on these 9 aspects of devotion. To Vishnu, to be practiced by men, and we have received proper instruction from a teacher. So we have to get the instruction from the teacher and how to practice this. The quintessence of devotional discipline is given in the above cited verse, and it will explain here. The 9 disciplines mentioned are specific devotional practices, and the one cited earlier, namely discharging the duties of worship of God, is a general discipline, the importance of which is devotional life. In devotional life, at all stages, has to be specially stressed. It has necessarily to be practiced along with the 9 disciplines, because without the refinement got through it, the latter will not be effective. That means if it is this practice is not ingrained, see, remembering, try to remember, you will forget naturally. You do the puja, you will forget. You think that to serve him all the time, remembering him, thinking of his glories, chanting of his names. These are all different tools that makes one feel connected with God more intensely. The practice of devotional discipline will bear fruit to the extent. Achha, why not you people read? Why am I reading? Read. You read.
The practice of devotional disciplines will bear fruit to the extent that man's mind is pure and he is absolutely sincere in his practice. It is comparatively easy for a man to make a show of devotion by chanting, attending discourses and devotional recitals, worshipping, serving holy images, etc. But if he is full of what the Bhagavad Gita calls asuri sampat, demoniacal nature, gloating in self-aggrandizement, aggrandizement through greed, lust, and violence, his devotional practice will be completely useless. So, combating his demoniacal nature in an aspirant is the foundation on which the edifice of devotional life is to be built up. And this is done by wholehearted dedication of one's actions and their fruits to the Lord. If all actions are to be dedicated to Him, one in whom Shraddha, true faith, has been generated, will be very particular to eliminate unethical action. For nothing corrupt and tainted should be offered to the Lord. For man dominated by body sense, physical values are the most real of all categories. Mere ritualistic worship or mental adoration cannot give him the sense of realism which dedication of all actions can give. Dana, or material gift, daya, loving disposition, and dhamma, self-control, are declared in the Upanishads as the keynote of the ethical discipline for asuras, men and gods respectively. In every person there are all these three. So to combat asuric nature, a quantum of physical worship is required. And this consists in dedicated action, service of fellow men, charities, observance of vows, austerities, etc. It is only through long practice of dedicated action that devotional sentiment will take root. There is no time limit fixed for this discipline. So long as man has not developed dispassion for the objects of senses and begun to feel delight in divine contemplation, at least works of the nature of duty and service of fellow beings must be performed. In fact, according to the Gita, work of this purifying type should be kept up all through life.
Okay. So this is the practical side of it. Huh? Or did you say anything?
No.
Yeah, I was going to start reading.
Okay.
But yeah, you can explain.
Can I comment on? I just have a question or something I wanted to comment on. It was just this, Asuri Sampat, demoniacal nature, gloating in self-aggrandizement through greed, lust, and violence, etc.
Three qualities: daya, ego. There is a why. You may say that why it is demoniacal. No, that's your question or what?
No, my question. No, it was more like a comment. No. That this description of qualities, it seems like very, very black and white thinking, because I just get the feeling that does this, how many people does this, apply to? Because most people aren't that black and white. I think all spiritual disciples, they have both good characteristics and bad characteristics. So when it's portrayed like this, it seems like it's a very, black and white picture of how people are, but psychologically we don't really, I think very few people would truly fulfill these qualities.
And that's why it is a question of the accomplishment in Bhakti school. When you attain to the higher level of Bhakti, you will transcend that. Yeah. He's talking about in the asuras, in man, and even God. These three characteristics are there. So what asura transforms into man, Man transforms into God. God transforms into lover of God. Understand? It's a gradual progress. So these three potential strength is there. But these have arrogance. Dana means
No,
material
I don't think
gift.
she's talking about Dana there and Dama.
That I'm saying.
Oh, she was talking about greed,
Asuri.
lust, and
Oh,
violence.
Yeah,
Asuri
after
Sampat.
Asuri Sampat, I'm just my comment was just that but this because the quote is, but if he is full of what the Bhagavad Gita calls Asuri Sampat, the maniacal nature, gloating in self-aggrandizement through greed, lust, and violence, his devotional practice will be completely useless. And to me, I just keep thinking that what kind of a person, like it's a very black and white image of how people function.
No, suppose it is subjective. Take it subjectively, not objectively.
Yeah.
One can see how am I, how am I, how am I off from all these qualities, bad qualities.
Yeah.
You can subjectively take. Objectively, you should not judge anyone. That is not a part of our spiritual journey. Judging others is not a part of spiritual journey. Judging yourself, you judge yourself. How much I am free from all these negativities.
Yeah. Well, my comment it wasn't so much. It was not a judgment in any way. I'm just saying that I feel that.
How many people are in this world like that?
Yes, that it's a very black and white thinking of how people function. Because of course, most 99.9% of all people, as long as we are in a physical human form, we are of course driven by our egos, and we will display greed, we will display lust, we will do things that we think benefit us.
Good. Then we are not devotees. That's the point.
Yes, but then even more so that a devotee would, fulfill all these qualities, being of the maniacal natures, gloating, greed, lust, and violence. It just seems like it's a very
no, it is not. It is not black and white, but it is true. If there is greed for the worldly thing, you have no love for God. If you don't go to the east, you have. You didn't move towards the east. West will be. You are in the west.
Yeah.
It is black and white.
Yeah, I think that
the
author is just trying to point out extremes.
Extreme.
Because
Yeah, this is.
if someone who really has a demoniacal nature and gloats in self-aggrandizement through greed, lust, and violence, they probably aren't going to have a devotional practice.
That's what I'm thinking. Why would they even have,
I think that's why he's saying the extreme. Like, there's
but the devotional practice they have, say Ravana.
Right. So
Ravana did all this.
They want to get something for
something material.
Yeah.
Get the power.
Like,
power. Yeah, sure.
When I was in college, I had a roommate who was very Catholic, and she'd party all night, Saturday night, and drink and go crazy. Sunday morning, she'd confess, and it's like
everything clean slate.
Yeah, but I think what he's saying is it doesn't work that way.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
I was just thinking that if you even in any kind of scientific study or population study, there's a bell curve. So most of the population will be kind of in the middle,
right?
And there'll be some stragglers to the left, which are like way negative, and some way positive. So those are very small percentage.
Yeah.
But most of the people will be under the bell curve.
Yeah.
So that's what they're talking about.
Yeah. I mean, a generalized tendency. If we look at that, look at the billions of people.
Yeah.
How many are devotees? How many are searching for that truth? So that number is very little.
Yeah.
So those who are really trying to be separate from them or coming out of that clutches of that weaknesses, so their number is very limited. But they have to struggle for this. Otherwise, to remain in that level and be fooling, as she said, yes, you are leading another type of life, and you think that you go to the church and you become all pure that moment. And Ramakrishna said, yes, the saint can go for the moment, but as we come out of the temple or church, again it jumps into our brain. Then this old thought again acts on our mind.
Yeah, but what I also mean is, especially being a young person, is that if you, in your life, do kind of feel like a drawn to spirituality in any way, like because, for example, I come from the most secular place in the entire world, where hardly anybody has any kind of spirituality or religion. Most people are either self-proclaimed agnostics or atheists. So my point is that, so if you do feel this spiritual inclination, then, if you have any kind of, interest in, embracing spirituality, then the first step is that at least for me from the outside, now I'm already in this. But if I were told that, oh well, okay, if you have any, greed or lust or no, okay, basically you won't get anywhere.
That will not stop.
No, but you
No,
have
that
to,
will not stop you. If I say,
yeah,
your spirit will throw away my barrier.
yeah,
That's why Prahlada, he was born in the family of the Asuras. This Bhagavat will tell that story. His father loved him. Take the name, I am the king. Why are you praising Lord Krishna? Why are you praising Lord Narayana? And then gave it to teacher. But every attempt failed there. And the father got into anger and this and that, but didn't stop.
yeah,
Your urge will be unstoppable. You will go that way.
yeah,
But no obstacle can stop you.
yeah.
Because it is in your inner urge.
Yeah, but what I mean is that the first step that you can't go from. I guess what I'm trying to say is that, so if you have the spiritual interest awaken in you, you obviously cannot go from that
At one
to
level.
being pure straight away.
That's
The,
right.
the first step is to at least you have to acknowledge to yourself that yes, I have tendencies in me that are motivated by lust and anger and greed and all these things, and that
But-
it's okay to have that.
But
So just
no,
acknowledge
not
it.
too okay. This is there. That's why they're saying that
Yes,
is
yes.
common.
Yeah.
But all this practice,
Hmm.
when you start doing, you are transcending them.
Yes, that's the purpose that you will transcend.
And I think the line after the one that you read kind of addresses that concern. It says, so combating this demoniacal nature in an aspirant is the foundation on which the
Yeah.
edifice of devotional life is
Yeah.
to be built up.
Yeah.
And this is done by wholehearted dedication of one's actions and their fruits to
Yeah,
the Lord.
that's the point.
Yes.
So it
So-
is necessary to combat for
He
sure.
first, the author first put the problem vehemently, which is the
He
common
put the
problem.
extreme problem.
Yeah. And it is common to all. Even those who are advanced in spiritual life,
Yeah.
these weak points remains in their heart.
Yes. Yes.
They have to struggle, finer struggle.
Yes.
Gross struggle you cover, then you face finer and finer problems.
Yeah.
So, but we have to combat against that, and gradually, by God's grace and your own effort, you will overcome. Okay, simultaneously.
Okay. Simultaneously, man should follow the 9 specific devotional disciplines, beginning with hearing, enumerated earlier. Selected verses on each of these disciplines are included in the text of Bhakti Ratnavali from section 4 onwards. These, together with the sectional introductions and notes, state most of what has to be said on these disciplines. Among the few additional points to be elucidated is the significance of the grouping into which these 9 devotional disciplines fall. As pointed out by Dr. Siddheshwar Bhattacharya in his learned book on the philosophy of the Bhagavata, Volume 2, the 2 disciples, Svarana, the 2 disciplines, Svarana, hearing, and Shmarana, remembering, corresponds to the Vedantic disciplines of Shravana, hearing the Upanishads, and Nididhyasana, deep meditation. Okay. The 2 are linked by Kirtana, praising by songs, hymns, etc., which corresponds to Vedic Svasthya, scriptural study and chanting of the Vedas. Thus, through these 3 disciplines, the Bhagavata links itself with Vedic tradition. Padasevanam, service, Vandanam, obeisance, and Archanam, worship, are essentially tantric disciplines introduced by the Pancharatra.
You got the best possible.
For the worship of God in holy images and service in
How
temples.
is talking about one? Some are connected with the Vedic tradition. These are some of them are tantric tradition. They have all merged into the Bhakti tradition. So then.
Okay, Dasya, servitude, Sakya, comradeship, and Atman Vedana, self-dedication, are pure devotional attitudes that form the core of the Bhakti discipline. While one or more of these attitudes in their rudimentary state may find expression in the earlier devotional disciplines, their firm establishment in the mind represents the state of rati, or continued attachment to the Lord, marked by the automatic involvement of the mind in uninterrupted thought of the Lord, even without the help of any of the more external practices. Rati, when mature, becomes the deep, loving devotion of the Shanta type. If one is dominated by knowledge and apprehension of the Lord's majesty, or of the Priti type, if the Lord is grasped as one's own through a sense of personal relationship. A person who has firm faith should also take initiation from a guru, which will facilitate regular spiritual practice.
So this is our
Actually, I'm impressed you said Shanta and not Santa.
I know, Santa Claus.
Yeah. So the mainly is saying some of the as pointed out, he said that the remembering and hearing, it is the Sravana. Vedantic teaching is Sravana, Manana, Nididhyasana. 3 steps. Sravana, listening to the Vedic text. Manana, reflecting on that. And Nididhyasana, deep contemplation. So here he says that the two disciplines, first two disciplines, Sravana and Smarana, they corresponded to the Vedic disciplines of what you call in the Upanishadic Vedantic term, Sravana.
Smarana is not manana. Manana and why nididhyasana? Why it is not manana? Sravana, manana, nididhyasana. These three are Vedantic practice.
Yeah.
Smarana should be equivalent to manana.
Are Baba, the book is telling for try to understand that, not what you understand. You have to understand what the book says, how we can understand that. What we know, that is our old concept. We have to correct it by in this light. Let us understand this, what he says. Normally we know that I said, Sravana, Manana, Nididhyasana, these are the 3 steps in the Vedantic path. They're finished. There is no other discipline in the Vedantic path. You listen, you reflect, and you dive deep into that meaning and just get merged into it. And that will lead you to the knowledge of the full knowledge of Brahma Jnana. But here he says that the Sravana, hearing, and Smarana, remembering, they are corresponding to the discipline of Vedantic or Upanishadic idea. And Nididhyasana and hearing Upanishad, means hearing the Upanishad and Nididhyasana, deep meditation. That means Shravana and Manana, they are talking about Shravana and Smarana, they are corresponding to Shravana, Manana, Nididhyasana. Anyhow, that is there. Somebody saying we need not have to take everything what they are saying. It is the Dr. Siddhartha Bhattacharya is connecting this link. I need not have to have bhakti, I need not have to know what is Vedic, what is Tantric, what does it matter? You practice the Savana, the Darsana, Kirmanana, Atmanivedana, all this practice. Now he continues, the two are linked with Kirtana. These two are linked with Kirtana. When people sing and dance, that is kind. But we need not have to go through this to understand. Second is thus, though the 3 disciplines of Bhagavat link itself to Vedic tradition, Padasevana, Bandhana, and Archanam are essentially tantric discipline. If you know the tantric discipline, what they are, probably you can match this thing. And Dasa and Shakka, he is bringing what is devotional practice, your relationship with God. God is the master, I am the servant, Dasya. Or he is my friend, comrade Arjuna and Krishna. And Atmanivedana, self-dedication. The total dedication, like Hanumanji, dedicated to total dedication. So these, while one or more of these attitude, they are actually bhakti, more of the bhakti tradition.
Was Hanumanji more Dasya or Atmanivedana?
You can say both. That's so links to Atmanivedana. Yes, it is all, everything is surrendered to. Of course, all bhakti ultimately surrenders oneself to the Lord. Nothing remains of his own. Dasoham, dasoham.
But of the 5 bhavas,
Out of
he
the
was
5, there is
Dasa.
talking about two attitudes he is mentioning.
But Atma Nivedan is not one of the bhavas.
The Atma Nivedana is the result, probably.
It's a result.
Or Atma Nivedana is maybe practice. I surrender everything, oh Lord, I surrender everything. That Bhakti is a Bhakti. If you read the Bhakti scripture, it is so complicated, Baba. Vedanta is much simple.
Then why do they say bhakti is simple?
Practice. Because we have the emotion, our heart loves somebody, we want to love somebody, whom we love, we remember somebody, whom we love, we want to serve somebody. So these are the human nature. How our human nature can be utilized for God. It's only transferring the attitude.
But I feel
Because
in practice,
bhakti is all about emotion. Emotion does not work with logic. So that's why you cannot, probably it is very
yeah,
complicated.
that's why I feel that bhakti in practice is even harder,
Some places.
because you're trying to love something that you've never seen, never known, you have no clue.
That they
Because
believe,
what you
that the
perceive,
faith.
yeah, faith, sure.
It is Krishna, it's Krishna.
Yeah,
That faith.
but I think most people understand what love is, because when you're born, you love your parents. You know, when you're a parent, you love your child. We understand what love is. It's translating that love to love for God. But jnana is more harder to figure out because
Figure
you
out,
take a big
but it is
concept
figured
and,
out, but it's figured out is very straight.
yeah.
That is the truth. You are seeing whatever you are thinking. It is not that you are seeing, your mind is projecting. But here, taking all these as it is all divine sport. And God is playing with me. And to create that type of spiritual attitude becomes for the masses. That's why, they don't need to say anything. You go and sing and chant, and 1,000 people will be there. Hare Krishna, dance you start. Even who are not habituated with that, they will join it and they will forget their worldly pursuit or other things. They find peace. So that's why it is easy in that way.
Actually, Swami Atma Priyananda is giving 2 retreats next month.
Yeah.
First topic is bhakti, the simple path which is most difficult to follow.
Yes.
And jnana, the difficult path which is most simple to follow.
That's great.
Yeah, he is a mastermind. Because if you really study the Bhakti school of thoughts, that's not so easy to understand. We are superficially we are talking. If we go into deeper depth, it is not a matter of joke. It's very, very complicated. But anyway, that's why when Bhakti scholars they talk about it is they go to the finer analysis. No, that is very difficult. Hello. So another question that arises. Oh, so who will read now? You
I
can.
didn't bring my book.
Okay,
That's
so
my book.
You can
okay.
share.
It's right here.
It will be okay for you.
What
You
page
need
have
your
you got?
glasses.
Page
77.
77.
77?
Yeah, last line.
Another question that arises in regard to the bhakti disciplines is whether they are expressions of devotion or whether they are only disciplines to be practiced one after another or at all at a time. Consensus of opinion among authorities is that they are as much disciplines of devotion or expressions of devotional nature. They are the characteristic forms in which even the greatest devotees give expression
78. We are on 78 top. They are the.
give expression to their longing for God and love of Him. For them, they become the spontaneous expressions coming from within. But for persons who are only at the preparatory stage, widely or gauntly bhakti, they are the means by which they could keep remembrance of the Lord, purify their understanding, and nourish the tender sapling of devotion planted in them at the awakening of Shraddha through some holy contact.
Yeah. So
Thank you very much.
the question that arises in regard to the ninefold bhakti we are talking about, the disciplines, is whether they are expressions of devotion or whether they are only disciplines to be practiced. One after another or all at a time. So two questions remains. Will you take this ninefold devotion, what has been mentioned, only it is a discipline, they are expression of devotion. If you have devotion, it will express that way. I think it's both. Suppose you have love for God, then you will really run to some place where they are talking about God. When there is something going on, you will sing and dance in the name of the Lord. You will remember the Lord. The tendency will be spontaneous. And that's why first question is the expression, the devotion you have will be expressed in the ninefold way. Or whether they are only a discipline to be practiced one after another or all at a time. So the consensus of opinion that a Bhakta school say among authorities is that they are as much disciplines, that's what I'm saying, as much disciplines of devotion as expressions of devotional experiences. You are practicing, it's a discipline. I'm not perfected. I have to think of God's Smaranam all the time. I have to chant His name, holy name. I have to serve God all the time. This type of attitude can be practiced. Or you have generated love, then your mind will guide you to do that. It's very spontaneous. You love anybody in the world. What you do? You want to do something for that person. How to please that person. So this is a spontaneous nature. If you have love. Mother loves the baby. No. Mother does everything for the baby without unconditionally, not thinking what reward she will get or not. So this is the point. This in that you can find, you step by step take all these ninefold steps that will help you to generate devotion. Or you are growing in devotion, a symbol or the symptoms will appear in your life. If you can observe yourself, am I getting more inclined to God? By way, what way? Am I very much inspired? I am feeling inspired when I hear that the Lord's name or the glories have been chanted, or I see some holy people, satsanga, all these qualities are no, it will be spontaneous.
But can't there be a contradiction between following an Advaitic path and developing bhakti?
No, there will be no contradiction. Contradiction should not be there because the goal is what is Lord. Lord is Sakara, Saguna, or Nirakara, Nirguna. It matters little. For our Vedantic purpose, you do that. For Vedanta will be very clear. If you love to think of God in the form, go. You have no objection to that.
Yeah.
But you have to understand who is Krishna, who is Rama. He is not a human being. So you understand that's Vedanta you are bringing there. He is the Lord of the universe. He permeates everywhere. He is the love behind all love. He is the consciousness of all consciousness. So you are talking in Vedanta. But not necessarily you have to bring Vedanta, but in our Ramakrishna tradition, we bring Vedantic background and then your love. You keep that Vedanta perspective and love your Krishna, thinking I cannot think of that aspect. I love him in a form. I want to worship. I want to touch his feet. I want to feed him. I want to fan him. You go to Vrindavan. They are fanning whole day. They are feeding now and then.
What I mean is that if I am in one way trying to actually connect to my inner self and the nature of myself, my jivan, as being at some point in essence one with Brahman, formless, to me it kind of
you need not have to think now. If you want to do that, follow that Vedantic path.
Yeah.
If you want to follow devotion, then you start with whatever you are doing.
Yeah.
When our mind will be so purified in that level, you will see that Krishna is no more. He remains a form.
Yeah.
He bursts into infinite form. Ramakrishna's vision. Ramakrishna saw Holy Mother, Mother, and Divine Mother. What she saw? It is no more the image.
Yeah, he saw
the image that, say, Vaishnavas say, it is Krishna's glow. Brahman is the Krishna's glow. Yes, that is also true. Look at that Mother Kali and the radiant light. He become alive and then he become bright and all radiant light started from his body, upon her body. No? So if you are a Krishna devotee, you see Krishna and the radiant light coming out of it. No? And that radiant light permeated everywhere, the whole cosmos. And he was drowned into that consciousness. Huh? So when he came back again, he saw the mother. But the mother is a different mother, tangible. That Krishna is a different Krishna. So these are the different ways of looking. There is no contradiction. People create contradiction. That's why we say, do practice. Don't get into trouble. You love this, go on, you will reach the same destination. Not that you have to believe that you will be reaching that non-dual. No, not necessary. If you reach that flight of consciousness, Ramakrishna's mind was sucked into it. He has no freedom. He cannot keep himself. Anyhow,
You cannot keep what?
you cannot keep yourself in that limited sense of separation. And you get totally lost. You lose yourself into that. You are gone. Your ego is gone. And bhakti, what does it ultimately say? Bhakti is to get out my ego. That Krishna's ego stay. And then if your ego goes, Krishna's ego stay, who will say what is Krishna's ego? You say it is Krishna's ego. I and Krishna. But when you die, tell me, who will say what is that? Same. Inexpressible. Bhakti Narada Sutra. What is verse? So Sadhu mean Parama Prema Rupa. That bhakti is the supreme of the nature of supreme love. What do you understand supreme love? We don't understand. Supreme love is our ego gets totally merged into that Krishna or Rama, whatever your Ishta Devata. And then it goes, then who will say what is that? Anyhow, these are philosophical things. We should start practicing.
Who do you fan? You said that in Vrindavan they are fanning.
Then they think that God is this Archa. Archa is this big graha. It is the living God. That conviction comes. I am feeding the Krishna here. And it's a living, what you do in the temple every day. The same thing you do. In the evening time we are fanning, we are waving light. Who we are doing? It's a photo. You are invoking the divine there. It is the Lord sitting over there, taking your offering. You are fanning him. So, Bhakti school is a wonderful thought of elevating the consciousness into divine consciousness. As we are talking in the morning, we cannot jump in one stroke to the Brahman. You have to go where you stand in the outer expression to inner expression and go deeper and deeper and deeper. People do the external puja, external worship. During
So
external,
this fanning and these are external like that.
of course. But you live in the external. You are eating yourself. You need good fanning when it is hot summer in Vrindavan. In fact, hot summer, how hot is hot in Vrindavan?
But is the tradition of fanning, is that something Vedic or Tantric?
It is a devotion. Wherever you love anybody, you fan him. In early days, there is no electric fan, so or air conditioning. So you have to take a fan and do that. See, you are talking about the Krishna Bhaktas. Look at Ramakrishna Bhakta, Swami Ramakrishnananda. What he used to do, Shashi Maharaj. There's hot summer in Madras. Hot summer in Madras. Ramakrishnananda was a heavy guy. He's sweating profusely. He took a fan and he woke up from his bed and went to the shrine, opened the door and start fanning. Whole night he is fanning. I will say, I am atheist, I will say, hey, he's fanning to a photograph. Is it photograph he is fanning? He is feeling the presence of this master. So it is a different level. So devotional bhakti is a very, very, very elevating thing in life. Without bhakti, jnana becomes dry. And without jnana, bhakti becomes dry. Bhakti becomes fanatic, mostly fanatic.
Complete identification.
But we are not identified, a process of identification. How can I identify with the Lord? By this type of service and Bhakti school, go to Sri Chaitanya. When Sri Chaitanya, there is famous story in Sri Chaitanya's life in the Jagannath, Puri Dham. Puri Dham, Jagannath Dham was like that of Dakshineshwar of Ramakrishna. So his last play, divine play, happened there. It's a very, very highly spiritually uplifted place is those areas. And Gambhira is the place where Sri Chaitanya used to live, that small room. And his what is the disciple's name? I forgot. Das Raghunath, probably. Can you correct me? What is the name? Das Raghunath? You don't know. Okay, so then I can say whatever I like. But I remember so far it is called, his name was Das Raghunath. Das Raghunath used to serve every day Sri Chaitanya as the Lord himself. He used to feel that is like Ramakrishna to his disciples. And then after dancing and singing, Sri Chaitanya was so excited in the spiritual moods like Ramakrishna, dancing and singing and going, totally forgetful, sweating, and now sometimes rolling in the floor. So after whole days, this ecstatic mood, he comes back and he used to lie down, and then this Das Raghunath used to serve, massage his feet and whole body massage, and so that Sri Chaitanya will be a very good sleep. So one day he came and he found that Sri Chaitanya is lying so tired, and his head is on the entrance of the entrance point door, and that is a very small door. To get over to serve him his feet, you have to take your leg over his head and enter, and then to start massage. He thought, what shall I do? If I wake him up, I don't want to disturb him. And then if I do this way, I am doing sin. His guru, his Lord of the universe, and how can I take my feet over his head? But yes, he ultimately thought, that's Swabhav. I am his servant. Let me go to hell serving my guru, serving my Ishta. And actually he went inside and then massaging. And after a long time, Sri Chaitanya woke up. Haridas, Haridas, no, Das Raghunath. Raghunath, probably Raghunath, if I forget the name, maybe some other saint, who was serving every day. How do you enter here? How long you are here? No, I came a little bit and I was massaging. You were here inside? He said, no, I was not. How did you enter? He's testing the disciple. Then he said that, yes, you are totally tired and you are resting. So, but I thought that I should serve. Your service I should not stop. But how can I enter? Because you are so tired and your head was just in the door. I have no escape, but I had to put my feet over your head. I know I'll go to hell because of this sin, because it's not proper to do that for God himself. But I wanted to serve you. Only for your service I did it. I don't care what happens to me, but I want your joy, your peace. That is the definition of bhakti. Bhakti means it is nothing the devotee wants for himself or herself, only for the Lord only. So this is the deep devotion. Is not an ordinary matter, can be achieved like that. What time is over? So we go.
What's our closing chant?
What is the closing chant? We don't chant anything, no? We can do one thing from Bhagavat. Then we can at least say that we know one verse of Bhagavat.
Page 92, verse 15.
92 page 15. It's smaller.
Vasudev Para? No, the one above.
That you can, easier we can. Vasudeva para Veda Vasudeva Paramakha, Vasudeva Parayoga, Vasudeva Parakriya, Vasudeva Parangyanam, Vasudeva Parantapaha, Vasudeva Parodharmo, Vasudeva Parogati. What does it mean? The Vedas have Vasudeva as their subject matter.
No, the 15 is
Say
about.
16,
we
17.
read the 16, 17.
Yeah,
Okay.
16, 17 together.
Oh, 16 to 17.
We read that.
Anyhow, Vasudeva, all yogas have Vasudeva at their end. Religious ceremonies have Vasudeva in view. All the spiritual science of self-knowledge is devoted to Vasudeva. All austerities are meant to propitiate Vasudeva. All dharma dedicated to the service of Vasudeva. Vasudeva is indeed the supreme goal of man. So,
It's like Brahmarpana.
bro, everything is the Lord, 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 Lord. Thank you so much. Let us go for tea. So, Durga, Durga, Jai Ma, how everything?
Very good.
Very
Thank
good.
you.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
এগুলো নিন. This also take.
This also put here.
Where does it go? You ask her. She knows.
No, here we
No, he knows.